I've been using just the letter Q lately on a lot of my videos that I make that are pretty much. The point of it all is this video game that we live in. What? We live in a video game, just so you know. I mean, if you haven't seen the new Jumanji movie, it really is not a very good movie. But if you really want to understand the kind of reality we live in, you need to go and watch Jumanji. Except that you're probably under quarantine, which means you can't watch Jumanji. In essence, what happens in Jumanji, spoiler alert, turn off the TV here if you don't want to know what's going to happen. But anyway, in Jumanji, the latest movie that I saw, I don't know, 6 weeks ago, a month ago, before the quarantine, a bunch of people got an it was like an old Atari video game from the 1980s. And ooh, what's a woo woo magic happened. And the next thing that they knew, they were uploaded into a video game called Jumanji. And it's just like a very old fashioned video game. A lot of the characters in the video game are incredibly stupid and really idiotic. But it was primitive video games, and back in the day, it was all we had. But that's sort of the nature of our reality here on planet Earth. The artificial intelligence programming of the video game planet Earth is very primitive and really low level. Like, um, I don't know. It's basically if you're about 8 years old, that's what the game is designed for, people that are 8 years old. And well, the game is currently kind of stuck because adults are in the game, and adults are never going to believe that their world is stuck because they're going to have to regress themselves to being 8 years old in order to get out of the game. In other words, when you're 8 years old, what kind of games do you play? I'm having a hard time trying to remember. Cowboys and Indians when I was young. I'm sorry if you think it's somehow racist or whatever to talk about Indians, but that's what we called it when I was in 1973, when I was 8 years old. Cowboys and Indians. And what was it? You had two teams, and basically you played a game for a little while, and then you played a new game. Next game was probably frisbee or hula hoop or uh, foursquare. And that's sort of the way that things are being run here on planet Earth at that level of intelligence. Now, some very advanced humans, because they're pretty much adults and they've read so much and they've lived through so much, really believe in the power of this virus to kill you or something. So they support an idiot who looks like the skipper from Gilligan's Island in province of Ontario, Canada. His name is Doug Ford, and he is the head politician. And he has locked us all in our houses because he's got the mentality of Skipper from Gilligan's Island. And the average people say, well, we don't want to take a chance. Well, you're going to have to take a chance, people. You're going to have to take a chance because otherwise he's going to keep you locked up forever. It's sort of the nature of the idiocy of video game planet Earth. And I am very unfortunately, I don't get, I don't know, 6 million viewers from Canada province so that the Canadians can sort of take a hint like, I don't know what you're going to do. What are you going to do? Even if I had all your viewership, I couldn't tell you what to do because there is nothing to do. You basically all put yourselves into quarantine, and the police are going to enforce it. And the police are basically not going to go against Skipper in Toronto, Canada, who is their boss. So, in essence, we're all going to starve to death because sooner or later the truck drivers are going to get sick of trucking food into the local Walmart where we line up outside in the cold for 4 hours before we have a chance to go in and buy some donuts for the day. This particular pattern of lining up for food is what happened in Soviet Russia in the 1970s, 1980s. Basically, there wasn't enough food to go around, so people waited in line all day long so that they could finally go in and see all the empty shelves. This is communism, and that's basically what we have going on planet Earth. We've got a communist dictatorship that is in control. And how do you upset the communist? Well, I don't know. I'm not in Toronto. If I was in Toronto, I don't know what to do. In the end, the way the Communist Party was ousted, well, they never really were ousted. They just changed their name, and now we've got a guy named Putin who used to be what was known as the KGB or secret police of the Soviet Union. He's in charge of Russia. I don't know how to tell you all that, in essence, you're all trapped in a video game with no exit strategy. If you needed an exit strategy, you might go with Donald Trump and the QAnon business, but they're so slow to move it forward. I was well, listening to a commentary on David Wilcock, who can kind of give you the background of it all. But in the end, it's all bogged down. It's all bogged down because I don't know why. I'm not an American, and I don't even know where David Wilcock lives. Basically, you've got a stalemate, and the stalemate is going to go on until you starve to death. I'm talking to transdimensionals, which are basically characters who are not in the physical, and they're incredibly stupid. And their job is basically to send pain and torture to me. Are they real? I was told that they are real. They're spirits. What's a spirit? I don't know. It's basically, it's the same thing as what you are, but without a body. And they pretend to live in a spaceship somewhere in space, but they're lost in space. So I can't help them. And the head of them right now is someone who's acting like Chief Clancy Wiggum from the Simpsons TV show. If it sounds asinine and idiotic, it is, but welcome to my reality. My name is Jamaica. Today I'm wearing a Jamaica t shirt. Isn't it pretty? Um, I haven't been to Jamaica in about 25 or 30 years. Is it still nice there? Hell if I know. It's too expensive anyway, even if I wasn't in quarantine, it's too expensive. I'd like to go there for, I don't know, 10 days or something and hang out on the beach and go for a sail or something. But I can't go because the airlines are shut down. I'm in quarantine. And it's even before that happened, it was too expensive for me because I work as a personal support worker in a nursing home and they pay us minimum wage. So there's not enough money to pay for anything on this planet. The planet is so fucked, it's brutal. In essence, what needs to happen is a wholesale reset. In the old Atari game, what you would do is you would maybe turn it off, unplug the cartridge, and you'd probably go to the beer store, buy some beer, and have a party with your friends. Unfortunately, the beer store is too expensive for me to buy a case of beer, and all my friends moved away, and I don't know where they are. So, in essence, I'm going to lie in bed all day and I don't know what else to tell you. This is my reality. I told you this before. If it sounds like it's monotonous and boring, my life is monotonous and boring. And it also hurts. I've got fibromyalgia, which is being sent to me by unknown entities just to hurt me. Why? Because they're evil. It's basically a game of good and evil. Just like cowboys and Indians and when you were 8 years old. good and evil was also a major theme when you're 8 years old. And today, well, what do you want to do with good and evil? Some people say, well, at the highest levels, there isn't any good and evil, but at the lower levels, there is, and you're supposed to take inspired action. And my inspired action right now is to make a video and to tell you, well, if you wanted to be taking inspired action, um, and you're under quarantine, um, I guess we're going to have to wait for Skipper, from Gilligan's Island, Doug Ford of Ontario Province, Canada, to lift the quarantine so we can all go back to work. But unfortunately, all the businesses have gone bankrupt in the meantime because of this stupid game. And there's still people that believe that, this virus that's killing off very old people is somehow dangerous to them. I mean, at age 30 or something. No one wants to say that um, humans in general are incredibly stupid creatures, and they have no balls. They're so afraid of their shadow. But that's something. It's not even when you're 8. I think it's more like when you're 3 or 4 that you discover your shadow, and your mom says, "That's your shadow. Don't be afraid of it." But we have people that are, 30, 40, 50, 60, 80 years old that are still afraid of their shadows. I don't want to tell you that humans are an incredibly stupid species, but they are. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and tune again tomorrow. Well, I'll tell you basically the same story, but